When Ahmed came to drop off his son Ali, I was standing, as expected, at the doorway of the classroom. Brother Salah, the assistant principal of the Islamic school, told teachers that regardless of what they were doing before class started, at exactly 8:30, teachers needed to be standing at the door, greeting students, asking about their homework, or giving them a friendly smile. Ahmed strode past me wearing a kufi, and before he dropped off his son Ali, he dropped off his younger son Jama at the Sister Rhoda's kindergarten classroom. I grinned up at Sister Rhoda, who returned my smile with a wave. Her too long sweater, cinched at the waist, covered her shirt and baggy jeans. She wore a light velvet scarf that made her Syrian skin look twice as pale. Ahmed didn't look at me when he came near my room, which surprised me because of my height. Most people not only looked but stared. Instead, he held his son's hand and went to the row of baby blue lockers adjacent to the classroom and searched for his son's locker number inscribed on a paper attached to each locker. He opened the locker for Ali, who was busy asking a classmate where he could get the bagel he was eating. With his backpack hung in the locker, he helped Ali get out of his jacket. He took his son by the hand and practically dragged him inside of the classroom. Once again, Ahmed didn't look at me, but walked past me into the classroom and to the desk that was inscribed with the yellow sticker and the name Ali. "Be good," Ahmed said to his son, releasing his hand. "Okay, Abahe," which meant father in Somali. I only knew this because I lived in a high-rise whose tenants were 90% Somali. It was my connection to the Somali community that led me to take a position at the school. I was hesitant at first to take the position as a white Muslim revert because I knew I was still learning the basics of the religion. During my job interview, many of the questions had more to do with my religious beliefs than my teaching background. In fact, the principal even said that someone in the community had saw me do something un-Islamic and wanted me to confirm. I admitted that I listened to music, but the principal merely frowned, as if that wasn't what he was getting at. Ali was looking around the room, gazing at his surroundings. I hadn't had the time to decorate the class properly, having coming into the class as a teacher 6 weeks after the school semester had started. The previous teacher, a Somali immigrant who I had only met once during my observation, left the room in total disarray. Textbooks littered the floor, and spitballs dotted the ledgers of the chalkboard. I did manage to take down some of the posters and cover up a mural of dinosaurs a teacher before me had students draw. The mural surprised me, because many Muslims did not believe in evolution. I listed some expectations written on the chalkboard. They were written as high as I could reach, which was only midway up the board, and I seemed to notice for the first time what my handwriting looked like from a parent's standpoint. Sloppy. In fact, so sloppy I didn't know if students would be able to read it, and made a mental note to rewrite my expectations during lunchtime. Having gotten his son settled, Ahmed walked past me briskly without saying anything. Ali watched him leave. When his father was at the end of the corridor, Ali got up from his seat and surprised me by throwing an apple in my direction. I had dodged the apple and noticed it was peeled once it landed on the floor. Ali's father must have dropped it off before leaving. Ali got up and walked out of the room and then ran down the hallway. I didn't know if I should stop him. Class was to start in a few minutes, and if his plans were to follow his father out of the school, I sort of hoped he might not return. He came back, though, after a minute or so. The day went on more smoothly until the end, when I heard a heavy knock and a jiggling of the door handle. The blackout curtains prevented me from seeing who it was. The students were all at their seats, gathering their folders and homework together. I thought it might be Brother Salah, and prepared myself mentally by saying Bismillah, and then opened the door. Ahmed was staring down at me. "I need to talk to you," he said. I told him I'd step out, and he barely allowed me enough space to exit into the hallway. "I heard you threw Ali's apple in the trash. Is that right?" By this time, the students were getting up from their seats. All 15 of them were gathered at the doorway. "Well, yes," I said. "This was after he had used it as a weapon and threw it at me." His mother had peeled the apple herself. His voice was escalating. "You're not permitted to throw it away in Islam," he shouted. I could see a vein getting bigger on his forehead. I didn't know what to make of this situation. Surely Brother Ahmed must have known that I was a revert to the religion and that I was learning. Maybe if he had only spoken to me or given me a proper introduction, this would have been apparent to him. Maybe I'd be forgiven. Brother Ahmed, the students are watching. Please leave, and if you have any comments, refer them to the office. Ahmed strode away briskly. I was about to yell something when he pulled a folded white cane from his back pocket. He retracted it and used it as support, gliding it back and forth down the hallway. News of this incident spread like wildfire through the small school. It was only after speaking to Sister Rhoda that I began to see what Ahmed was getting at. She offered me a fatwa, or Islamic interpretation. Leftover food must be saved for this next time, or it should be given to the needy. If there are no needy people, then it should be given to animals, even after it has dried out, for the one who is able to do that. Fatwa al-Lajna al-Dahima. I was reminded by teachers on how to conduct myself as a Muslim and what to do and what not to do. I never saw Ahmed again the rest of the school year, which was a shame because of all the feedback I had been given. I wanted to thank him personally.